Hey everyone, this is your girl Sharifa, aka Shree, and welcome to the I'm Good podcast, or in better words, the I Feel Good podcast. If you are new here, welcome to the family. This is a podcast where I explore topics on mental health, physical health, nutrition, and everything in between. So if you're trying to get right and stay right mentally, this is definitely the place you want to be. And wait, before I begin, here's some quick info. Why did I name this podcast I'm Good? Simple. Because as people from a cultural standpoint, whether we are down or happy, our favorite response to friends, families, or strangers is I'm good, even if we're not. It's completely normal not to feel happy all the time, but in the midst of whatever you go through, the saying I'm good can elaborate to so many different meanings. So yes, this is the place to be whether you are down, happy, excited, and everything in between. I'm here to dish out knowledge, talk about current topics, and of course, lift you up. So feel free to go ahead and subscribe, share this podcast, leave a review, and tell a friend. Now let's go ahead and get started on today's show. Hey guys, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. And let me explain to you really quick. First of all, for starters, it's free. Yes, I said it's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And I know most of you guys have a phone or computer, so it's so easy. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So make sure you download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hey y'all, welcome back to the I'm Good podcast. If you are new here, what's good, what's poppin'? Shout out to my new listeners. Shout out to my I'm Good fam, which is my returning listeners. Shout out to y'all. Listen, we are on episode 102. Listen, we doing it, okay? But yes, y'all, thank you guys so much, for tuning in to this podcast. The days where, I'll be honest with you guys, the days where I'm not motivated or feel, not motivated or unmotivated, whichever one you prefer to say. You guys push me because I'm going to be very honest with you guys and transparent. There are a lot of times, like just with my businesses or just anything that I'm doing, even this podcast, where I'm just like, you know what? I don't feel like doing it, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, this is bigger than you. Like, you just can't, just because you don't feel like doing something, that's something I'm teaching myself, is like, just because you don't feel like doing it, or maybe you're not getting the results that you want because you're looking at other people. Because we all do it. And I shouldn't say we all, but I know I do it. You might look at someone else in a podcast where I'm like, oh my God, how did they get there? I want to get there. But everybody's journey is separate. That's the beauty of life. Everybody's life is different. But you guys, I'll be honest, it's like, that's why I always like to say thank you. Y'all guys keep me going, because it's like some days I'm like, I don't feel like recording. I don't feel like, doing a podcast. But then it's like, oh my God. Then I'm like, oh my God, I have listeners and people listening to me, and new listeners and returning listeners. And it's just like, that's why I appreciate it. And so, that's also why the topic today, if you look at the title, what the topic is about, steps on chasing a winning mindset, or how to chase a winning mindset. That's the reason why I actually did this podcast today, because podcast episode, because I did want to talk about like how to kind of keep yourself going even when you don't feel motivated to keep going. But also too, this podcast is sponsored by All Things Shree. So go to www.allthingsshree.com and use promo code I'm Good Fam to get 10% off your entire order. Once again, go to www.allthingsshree.com and use promo code I'm Good Fam at checkout to get 10% off your entire order. If you are listening to this on Apple Podcast, please be sure to leave a rating and review. If you don't want to write anything, that's fine. Certainly you can just leave a rating. If you're listening to this on Spotify, leave a rating or review on there. Also, too, make sure that you subscribe to this podcast as well. And if you're listening to this on another platform, by all means, listen, whatever method they have, because listen, I know this podcast is everywhere. So, whichever way that you listen to it, feel free, if you feel that this podcast has helped you in any manner or whatever, or just help you to grow or whatever it may be, definitely go ahead and leave a rating and review. That's another way you can always show appreciation if you do appreciate this podcast. Also, too, be sure to share this podcast. Like, share it with your friends, share it on your social media, share it with your boo, share it with your bae, share it with your hubby, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your sister, whoever it may be. Definitely go ahead and share this podcast. Listen, we are a growing family over here. The I'm Good fam, we are a growing family, and bigger and better things are happening. And I'm not even gonna say better, because big things have already happened. I think a lot of times we have to say to ourselves in life, I feel like we are trying to chase better, this and that, not realizing that we are actually in a good situation or an excellent situation. But I feel like a lot of times we kind of go through we live in a culture where everything is all about the grind and the hustle, which is fine. But sometimes we just need to just plant our feet on the ground and just be thankful for now. So even though I say bigger and better is coming, bigger has already happened. Like, there's so many things that I'm grateful for in regards to this podcast, the way it has grown. Like I said, I didn't even realize that I was going to have so many, I knew I was going to have listeners, and I know that this podcast, I always had in my heart that this podcast will blow up and do well, and it will. And I shouldn't even say, well, it's already doing well. But I didn't expect to have so many new listeners and so many different listeners from all over the world so soon when I launched it. I know that it was going to happen because I have faith in God and I have faith in myself. I have faith in the vision that God gave me. But when you actually see it happen, it's crazy. So also too, if you are on Instagram, or if you're not on Instagram, whatever, you can always create an Instagram. Go follow the podcast Instagram page. It's I'm Good Podcast. And yes, if you go on there, I've been kind of doing some stuff. I've been doing some reels just to kind of figure out the Instagram algorithm and just things like that. So go ahead and follow the I'm Good Podcast on Instagram. All right, y'all. So I hope you guys had a good week. If you guys didn't, hopefully this podcast episode will help cheer you up, will help you in some type of form of fashion. And yeah, like I said, if there might be some other episodes, you can always go through. So if you're having a tough week, certainly go through other episodes. There are a lot of, have over 100 episodes, that you can go through, to kind of figure out what can tailor to your life right now. But in the meantime, definitely stay for a while with this podcast episode as I go over steps that you can take to chase a winning mindset. And so in regards to today's podcast episode, chasing a winning mindset could be chasing a winning mindset in regards to your health, your mental health, whatever it may be. I know oftentimes chasing a winning mindset or having a winning mindset, a lot of times I feel like for me, within our culture, I say is more so money and things like that. But chasing a winning mindset can be an area in any area of your life. Like I said, it could be health. It could be mental health. It could be whatever a winning mindset looks like for you. That's what this episode is about, how to chase that winning mindset. So the first one on my list, in regards to steps to chase a winning mindset, in regards to steps to chasing a winning mindset, is you want to be intentional. This is something that I'm learning even to this day. And even though it's sometimes I'm I don't feel but it's important to write down your why. So for me, with this podcast, if you're someone that wants to start a podcast, it's very important to write down your why. Why do you want to start a podcast? And once you do that, the days that you feel unmotivated or stuck, because you're going to have those days, because I've had those days. In those days that you feel unstuck, you're going to have to look back and be okay, that's why I started this podcast. And that why is going to keep you going. And so something that I've told myself that I want to do actually this week and, sometime this week, whatever, is that for every business that I have or anything that I do, I want to have a why, whether or not it's losing weight, whether it's not, cutting out sweets or dairy or anything like that. What's my why? Why am I cutting out sweets? Because your mind is going to forget. For me, cutting out sweets has a lot to do with, sweets can lead to inflammation, and I'm already a type 1 diabetic. So it can lead to inflammation. We talked about autoimmune diseases and things like that last week. It can lead to a poor mental health state. So if you're, it can make you feel down. When you eat the sweet, you'll feel up, but it can make you feel down. You might feel not as energetic. You might be upset with yourself, like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have ate that, blah, blah, blah. So it's important to put down your why. Like, what's your why? So the first one on my list in regards to steps to chase a winning mindset is you want to become intentional. Be intentional and write down what's your why. I mean, for like single ladies, like you can put down like, well, if you're looking for a relationship, for anybody, single lady, single man, whatever you're looking for a relationship, you can be like, okay, what's my why? Why do I want to get in a relationship? Like, why? Why do I want, like for my fellas, why do I want a wife? For my ladies, why do I want a husband? Like, and I think those things will kind of help us because a lot of times we'll forget those things. We'll forget like, okay, what was the reason? And whether or not, and I told myself, I'm like, geez, I'm gonna have a whole notebook of whys, but it doesn't matter. Your why is what's going to fuel you. Maybe one of your things is like, okay, every week I want to listen to like a sermon on YouTube. You know, maybe you're going through a rough time and you told yourself, okay, to get past this, I want to listen to a sermon. After a while, once you get past that time, because you will get through it, you kind of say to yourself like, okay, why am I still watching this? Like, but you got to forget, you know, there was a time where you felt that you needed to watch that. And just because you feel good don't mean that you should stop. So that's the first one on your list. Like I said, I'm going to be doing this myself. And I feel like it's going to take up probably a whole sheet of paper because I really want to break down my life and be as intentional as possible. Because when you're intentional, whether it's with your finances, whatever it may be, I'm living proof. When you're intentional with something, things will grow. Things will take off. When you're intentional, if you're like, if you're looking for a job, if you're intentionally looking for a job, maybe you're looking for a certain job. But when you're intentional, you create a winning atmosphere. And that's what we're talking about. You're creating a winning atmosphere. And then you also create a winning mindset. Number 2, another thing that you can do to, create or chase a winning mindset is write down quotes. Maybe you're not a quote person. Now, me, I'm a quote person. I have quotes all over my wall, all over my office space. Write down quotes. If you're not a quote person, if you like scriptures, write down a scripture that's going to push you. It can be something like, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Those are some scriptures. Or some quotes could be, guys, I give y'all guys quotes all the time. If I would say find a quote that's going to push you on your days where you feel like you don't want to be pushed. Like, find a quote, because the thing about this is that when life is doing good and jolly, we feel like we don't need nothing. When things are up here, whatever, we feel like, who needs a winning mindset? I'm already up there. We don't think about having a not winning mindset, whatever. We think, okay, we don't need nobody. But once things start to dim down a little bit, we like, okay, what can I do? Like, I need some type of push. So you want to have like quotes. It could be quotes. For me, I get a lot of my quotes from like podcasts that I listen to. I like to listen to Eric Thomas. He's a motivational speaker. I'll maybe like listen to like something like Earn Your Leisure, whatever. They might say like a financial quote. I get my quotes from books. I even get quotes from movies. Like, I was watching some movie on Netflix and I think it's called like The Saving Budgeting Woman. I forgot what it's called. But at the end of each episode, wait, is it a movie or is it different seasons? Y'all, I don't know. But they do like quotes. I think it's called The Saving Budget Woman. Y'all, it's something like that. But yeah, no. So write down quotes wherever like for me, once I hear a quote or I'm like, oh shoot, I love that quote, I'm going to write it down. So quotes, scriptures, whatever it may be, that's another really, really great way to help you chase a winning mindset. Number 3, you need to starve your distractions. What does that mean? Whatever's hindering you, you have to make it starve. And that's something I keep telling myself. You got to starve your distractions. If your distraction is social media, maybe like if your distraction is social media, I would say, try to get off of it. And if you have Kindle on your tablet phone, read a book on Kindle. I know that sounds boring, but I'm trying to tell y'all, maybe read a book on finance, read a book on health, whatever area in your life that you want to grow. Because I know for sure, if you're listening to this podcast, you have a certain mindset. I'll say this. Only certain specific people listen to this podcast. This podcast ain't for everybody. That's okay. I don't listen to every podcast. There's probably millions, I was gonna say billions, hundreds of podcasts. That doesn't mean that I hate the podcast. It just means that podcast is not for me. So I will say, if you're listening to this podcast, there's something in you where I know that you have an abundant mindset, you are driven, you want growth, and you are willing to grow and learn. I will say that. Because, like I said, this podcast is very specific in regards to growing, like your, better health, boosting your mood. And also it's about mental health. What things can you do to be mentally stable and mentally push yourself harder and to do better? So you're already on the right track by listening to this podcast. And then also, too, with the quotes, always feel free. That's why I have quotes at the end. I always have quote of the week at the end of each episode. Feel free to write down these quotes. Put it on a sticky note. Put it in your journal, whatever it may be. Put it in your phone. Feel free to write down these quotes. Put it on your social media. Like, share it. Whatever it may be, feel free to use these quotes because these quotes are here to motivate you. But yes, you want to starve your distractions. If your one thing is like, oh my gosh, I'm always eating out. I'm always, while I'm at work, I'm always going to this restaurant or this fast food place. Meal prep. So starve your distraction from going out by meal prepping. If you're always watching TVs, if you're always watching TV or watching something, a way to start with distraction is maybe find, you can still watch it, but maybe find a show that's going to help you or benefit you. Like, that reality, that drama, cut it off. There's a time and place for that. If there is even a time or place for you in that, aspect of whatever life you're in. But cut it off. Watch something that's going to help you. Like for me, something that I really, really enjoy watching, I think I watched it at the beginning of the pandemic. It was called The Secret. There's a book called The Secret, which I knew about, but I never read the book, but I watched the documentary on Netflix and it was excellent. So I would say try to watch something that's going to better you. So number 3 is starve your distractions. Number 4, something that I'm working on and I've been a lot better, is another way to chase a winning mindset is to understand the importance of patience. It's so important to be patient. I know for me, a lot of times I'm not patient. I want results fast. I want things to happen fast, but there's a reason for everything. There's a reason. If everything happened, like, let's be real, if everything happened with the way we want it, y'all, we will be screwed up. Because the things that I wanted or I thought I wanted down the line, I'm like, I didn't want that. And I'm glad that God took that away from me, or I'm glad I didn't go that path. Things that I thought I wanted, no. So you want to really practice patience. So whether you're starting a business, whether, this is a hard one for me, like you're on a journey to lose weight, be patient with yourself. Your weight is going to drop. As long as you're doing the things that you need to do, your weight is going to drop. And not only will your weight drop, you'll also see an improvement in your mental health. I can't tell you how many times I'll work out or do something and I feel so much better. So number 4 is you want to practice patience. Number 5, speak affirmations over your life. And you can read scriptures as well, but I would say speak affirmations over your life. You can say, I am beautiful. I am driven. I am a millionaire. I am healthy. I'm whole. Speak affirmations over your life. Because even though you may not feel that you're beautiful at that moment, because you're saying it, your mind is going to be like, okay. And listen, we're all beautiful. But, obviously, let's be real. People, a lot of us, I've dealt with it. Insecurities, low self-esteem, poor confidence, whatever. I've dealt with it. I'm not, going to even sit here and be like, oh, I'm just uppity and perfect. Absolutely not. That's why I create this podcast. Not only to help you guys, but to also help me. So, having some type of affirmation that you speak to yourself. You can write down 3 affirmations to read out loud every day. And you can split it up in categories. Maybe you need affirmations for your finance. Maybe you need affirmations for your mental health. Maybe you need affirmations for, losing weight, whatever it may be. Maybe you need affirmations for dating. Maybe you need affirmations for your marriage. I don't know what it looks like, but I would say tailor these affirmations to areas where you feel that you would like to grow in regards to your life. Number 6, very important. Another way to chase a winning mindset is to fix your diet. And I'm not saying going on a diet, but fix your diet. Chasing a winning mindset, you can chase a winning mindset with a poor diet, but baby, listen, I'm telling you, this is something I had to learn. Your mind is so much clearer when you are eating healthier. I'm not going to say you got to go vegan or anything like that, But try to clean up your diet a little bit. A lot of processed foods, fast foods, a lot of just things like that. You might be able to make smart and good decisions, but in the long term or long run, yeah, you might make good decisions and feel like you're doing well while you're eating poorly. In 30, 40 years, it's going to catch up to you. So it's better, to do it now, so that in 30, 40 years, you can still be running at the same level that you are at now, because it will catch up to you. I don't know how or anything, but a lot of times it will catch up to you. Your eating habits, whether it's your eating habits, whatever it may be, your habits, if they're poor and you continue to do them, they will catch up to you. And then the last one on my list, number 7, in regards to another way to chase a winning mindset, is to exercise. Like I said, that's another one which that could be, seen as, simple, but exercising helps you. I would say for me, I'll be honest, when I exercise, for me, I feel like I come up with new ideas. I feel like God be speaking to me. Like, I be like, oh, shoot, I got this idea for the podcast, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. Like, for me, when I exercise, I feel like my mindset is like on 10,000. Like, not only am I like, oh, I feel good, I'm working out, I'm also thinking about other opportunities or things that I can do in my life to boost my life. So those are 7 things that you can do in regards to, steps that you can take to chase a winning mindset, or I could say how to chase a winning mindset. Those are basically steps that you can take today to chase a winning mindset. Like I said, this could be you wanting to win in your health, win in your mental health, win in finance, win in your relationships. These are all practical things that you can do in regards to just winning at life and just having that winning mindset. Especially, like I said, because trust me, I be having those days, especially those days when you feeling unstuck. This right here will definitely, when you're feeling stuck, I would say feeling stuck or unmotivated, this right here will definitely help you, get yourself kind of out of that rut. So, all right. So as we were talking about quotes, today's quote of the week is, when the vision is clear, the strategy is easy. Let me say that again. When the vision is clear, the strategy is easy. All right, I'm good, fam. You already know what time it is. We are now at the end of this week's show, and I hope this information was helpful, insightful, and everything in between. Do not forget to go ahead and subscribe to the I'm Good podcast. Share this episode with your friends, your family, whoever shared on your social media, your Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Wherever you use social media, be sure, if you have not done so, leave a review. And I'm sorry, I am stuttering. Yo, I be talking too fast. I be telling myself like, sis, slow down. What are we running for? But yeah, I really be talking too fast. But make sure you guys leave a review and tell a friend. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in and listening. And I will see all of you beautiful people next week. Bye-bye.